The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
And we begin this morning with masking in schools and the latest effort by local parents to make their voices heard. California lifted its indoor mask mandate for vaccinated people yesterday, but the same exemption does not apply to students. 17's Marco Torres attended the Rosedale Union School Board meeting yesterday and has more on what those parents had to say.
The mask mandate in schools has been a hot topic for months, but with the indoor mask mandate being lifted for vaccinated people, students are still required to keep them on. This sparked an outcry of protest from parents across the state.
Want to wear the mask, wear the mask. But at this point, it's time to take them off our kids.
Many parents at Tuesday's Rosedale board meeting claim masks don't do anything, even though health professionals say masks can and have saved lives.
Why are we, Rosedale, still enforcing masks? Masks do not prevent the spread of COVID. If adults don't need them anymore, why do children who are not statistically at risk?
Some protesters facing pushback at home as some schools force students who refuse to wear masks to go home.
And my 6th grader got sent home today. I got on the phone with my son and I said, "You don't want to wear a mask?" He said, "Nope." And I said, "Okay." And so he had to sit in the office until his dad came and picked him up. But we fully support him.
Marco Torres reporting. Parents expressed their frustration throughout the board meeting, but the board says it cannot remove the mask mandate unless the state allows them to. The Kern County Board of Supervisors went on record yesterday in opposition to 2 state Senate bills concerning kids and the COVID-19 vaccine. 17's Chris Burton joins us in studio this morning with more, and we're going to get to his report in just a second.
Well, Alex, the Board of Supervisors yesterday announced that they were unanimously sending letters to State Senator Shannon Grove and Melissa Hurtado. They were urging them to vote against what the board calls an overreach of state power. These are 2 Senate bills. State Bill 866 would allow minors 12 and older to get a vaccine without parental consent. And the other, State Bill 871, would add the COVID-19 vaccine to the list of required vaccinations for California schools and also remove exemptions based on personal belief.
If you read those bills, it'll make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. It did for me. It was just, this is not the country that I know and that I grew up in.
The bill's proponents say they're necessary to protect California's most vulnerable and immunocompromised students, and enacting them will help bring an end to the pandemic. Now, these bills still have a long way to go. They'll have to pass through committees and withstand votes in both the Assembly and the Senate before the governor can approve them. In studio, Chris Burton, 17 News.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. Now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic in Kern County and COVID-19 case numbers in Kern as our total number of new infections continues to trend downward. Public Health yesterday reported 881 new cases. There were also 3 new deaths reported yesterday. State data shows 196 people are in the hospital with the virus. 40 more are in the ICU. Public health officials delivered a direct comparison with these numbers compared to just a week ago, and the news is hopeful as we come out of this latest COVID-19 surge.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the... As of yesterday, our case rate was 53.5. At my presentation to your board last week, it was 81.5.
Kern Public Health Director Bryn Kerrigan laid out the data for the supervisors yesterday, spotlighting a more than 30% drop in the case rate in just a week. Kerrigan went on to say that of Kern's eligible population, nearly 55% have been fully vaccinated against the virus. Nearly 62% has received at least 1 dose. Nearly 39% have received a booster. Public health officials stress the vast majority of COVID-19 deaths are among those who are unvaccinated.
LA County relaxed its outdoor masking rules overnight as the number of hospitalized coronavirus patients continues to fall. Masks will no longer be required for outdoor mega events and outside areas of K-12 schools, as well as child care centers. Health officials say the indoor masking rule will remain in place until the county's virus transmission rate falls to a moderate level. Disneyland, meantime, says it will no longer require masks for fully vaccinated guests starting tomorrow.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
Turning now to your 17 Crime Watch, and a student at Bakersfield High School is under arrest, accused of bringing a gun on campus. According to the Kern High School District, the student was found in possession of a firearm after being brought to the office for an unrelated reason. The district did not say if the weapon was loaded. It did say a KHSD police investigation found no indication that the student intended to use the weapon at school. BHS parents and guardians were notified about the incident yesterday. The student was arrested and is facing criminal charges.
Law enforcement still on the lookout for an inmate who walked away from a Bakersfield community reentry program. This is a picture of 26-year-old Dylan Warren. He was discovered missing from the male community reentry program facility Sunday. He's described as 6'2", 209 pounds. If you know where he is, call 911.
Residents of Westchester had a chance to learn about new transitional housing projects coming to their neighborhood. The plan is to construct 126 affordable housing units for the unsheltered and underserved and offer services to help them get back on their feet. Operation Home Key will be built at the City Center site off F Street and Golden State Avenue. Last night, CityServe invited neighbors to learn more about this project.
Of course, when something is new and unknown, people who are highly invested in their homes and their families, it can make them a little nervous. So we were glad to be able to meet those faces, welcome them in here. This will be the first of many neighborhood meetings.
I'm supportive of it personally, because I think it does something, right? I mean, as we can see, things have deteriorated in the last many years, and if you use just mathematical logics here, it's going to continue that way, right? Unless someone does something.
For more information on the project, you can go to cityservehousing.com.
And now to some breaking news. President Joe Biden is ordering the release of Trump White House visitor logs to the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot. We want to take you live to the White House this morning. The records being released to Congress are visitor logs showing appointment information for individuals who were allowed to enter the White House on the day of the insurrection. Biden had considered Trump's claim that because he was president at the time of the attack on the U.S. Capitol, the record should remain private, but decided that it was, quote, not in the best interest of the United States to do so.
Are we on the brink of diplomacy or invasion? The world is watching and waiting to see if Russia makes a move against its neighbor, while NATO countries insist an invasion will force their hand. NBC's Bree Jackson gives us a rundown of the latest from Washington.
President Biden warning that a Russian invasion of Ukraine remains a distinct possibility, despite Russia's claims of a partial withdrawal of troops. The administration saying it's seen no evidence of that.
We've been transparent with the American people and with the world about Russia's plans and the seriousness of the situation.
The president stressing the devastating human cost of an invasion in Ukraine and laying out consequences here at home. Americans could see high gas prices soar even more.
I will not pretend this will be painless. There could be impact on our energy prices.
The administration will work with energy producers and Congress to provide consumers relief if needed. On Capitol Hill, senators agree sanctions against Russia are necessary.
We need a sanctions package legislatively from this Congress. We need to show resolve.
However, Republicans argue now is the time to act.
I hope the administration is not going to wait until after an incursion to turn the screws and put some real sanctions on the Russians.
President Biden reiterating his threat to target Russia's gas pipeline if it attacks Ukraine, while further reassuring allies.
An attack against one NATO country is an attack against all of us.
The commander-in-chief vowing to give diplomacy every chance to succeed. Today, the House Oversight Committee holds a hearing on Russian aggression, including its buildup of troops along Ukraine's borders. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
Back here at home, as he prepares to lay his daughter to rest, a heartbroken father's appealing for help in finding one of the people responsible for her death. A vigil was held yesterday at Challenger Park in southwest Bakersfield for Bianca Flores. The 19-year-old was headed home from the store on February 2nd when she was struck and killed by a driver allegedly involved in an illegal street race. The driver, 35-year-old Iqbal Singh, was arrested and charged with murder, but the motorcyclist he was allegedly racing has not been caught. Flores' father's appealing for someone to come forward and identify that rider.
People just speak up. If you see this racing, report the racers. Like I said, it could have been anybody, someone's father, daughter, mother, sister, someone that you love can actually not come home, today or tomorrow. You never know. So just speak up, report everything to authorities. The street racing's not a game.
The family's attorney says a $10,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the motorcyclist involved in the street race that killed Bianca Flores. If you know anything, call Secret Witness at 322-4040. A funeral service for Flores is scheduled for this Friday.
A man accused of driving while impaired when he crashed, causing the deaths of 3 passengers, has been ordered to stand trial. 22-year-old Adam Teasdale faces 3 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. You may remember on New Year's Eve 2020, Teasdale allegedly drove under the influence when he swerved, went over a median, and hit a tree. Timothy Michael Wilson, Devin Lee Atha, and Andrew Nicholas Ortiz, all 20, were thrown from his car and died. A 4th passenger survived the crash. Teasdale's next hearing is scheduled for February 24th.
A felony charge has been filed against a woman in connection with the death of a 16-year-old Bodfish girl who overdosed on fentanyl. A court filing says Marilyn Lee Elliott admitted to providing fentanyl to the teen the night of May 18th. And the girl's boyfriend told investigators he was in touch with her that night and she told him she had used the drug. The teen was found unresponsive the next morning at a home on Pioneer Place and later pronounced dead. Marilyn Elliott is now charged with willful cruelty to a child. And Congressman David Valadao has joined more than 100 of his congressional colleagues in signing a letter to President Biden to permanently classify fentanyl as a Schedule I drug, which would carry harsher penalties. The temporary classification is set to expire this Saturday. The letter reads in part, quote, "The opioid epidemic in America continues to harm communities and families across the country, especially here in the Central Valley. Fentanyl is a particularly dangerous substance, and it is important law enforcement is properly enabled to combat this crisis."
The drive to replace thousands of toys damaged in a fire in Oildale last month continues this week. The toys were meant for the kids at the Bakersfield Homeless Center. And we're collecting toys at our station through the end of the month. You can drop off a new unwrapped toy to our lobby here at 2120 L Street in downtown Bakersfield, weekdays during normal business hours. For more information, just head to our website, kget.com.
And now to a big boost toward fighting food insecurity in Kern County. Bank of America presented a check for $25,000 to the Community Action Partnership of Kern yesterday. Bank of America donated $100 for each of its employees in Bakersfield who received a COVID-19 booster shot. The money will help Cap K with its mission of providing food for those in need in our community. Bank of America's donation will cover approximately 167,000 meals.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.